Good morning, Yasha Allah. We give thanks to our high priest and our malak for the privilege to serve our king and to bring a word of encouragement to Yasha Allah. Our lesson tonight is going to be a short one. The title is Reaching for Judah, or Reaching for Yahweh, according to the Hebrew appellation of the name of the tribe. And our scripture lesson comes from Hezekiah, that you know commonly as Ezekiel. That's Hezekiah 38 and verse 2. It says, "Son of man, set your face against Gog, the land of Magog, the prince of Rush, Meshach, Tubal, and prophesy against him." And so we're dropping a word towards Russia in connection with the war at Ukraine. And it's concerning the fact that Esau, or Amalek, who is involved with the war effort there, has been engaging his intention or striving to reach us of the house of Yahweh, of Yasha Allah in general, because as we used to be together when there was a concern for the birthright, you know, we have endured a long season of battling back and forth with Esau, or Amalek, actually, who leads the charge for Esau. Amalek is at the forefront of all the dukes of Esau, according to Bereshith, or Genesis chapter 36. We find the principal discussion of the genealogy of Esau, wherein we also learn, well, not wherein we learn also, but wherein we learn in principle who Esau is, and to find out, to get the understanding of the depth of the hatred of Esau against the Most High and against Yasha Allah, against the 12 tribes. This particular emphasis on the house of Judah, or Yahweh. And there we find in Bereshith 36 the real foundation of Esau's setup against the Most High and against the the 12 tribes, again with particular emphasis on house of Judah or Yehudah, because when we shared a common union together, as we shared a common union together, Amalek, I was of the view that he could work with Gadriel, with Satan and the fallen. Matter of fact, Amalek gave himself to the demon god of the Horite, wherein he got the power that he exhibited in his wars. You know, in the Roman battles that showed them winning wars, victories over many nations, or many I might use the word factions, people's nationalities that came against them. They basically won their wars and were running roughshod over everybody that they battled. And so history was showing the Edomites as being so strong and formidable. It seemed that no one could beat them. And it is because they had this secret relationship with Gadriel, with Satan and the demons. From that relationship that Esau forged with the Horites, and it was after sealing or tying up that relationship with the Horites that Esau ascended out of Seir to become servant to Yashar'allah. This is a matter that I believe in general we have not known, that when Esau submitted himself to Yaquab, or to the 12 tribes, he had already been in Seir and joined forces with the Horites. In my mind, I am thinking this was a part of the secret plan that Esau was planning in his heart. Therefore, the Most High blocked Esau from having full ownership of the birthright. He allowed him to have a portion of it. Perhaps it was owing to the love or the emotional attachment of our father Yitzchak to Esau. For we see in the story concerning the birthright that Yitzchak loved Esau, and when it came to the giving or the distribution of the birthright, that Yaquab was, Yitzchak was interested to pass the birthright onto Esau. But through the Most High prevention, full power over the birthright was thwarted and was avoided. So it caused that Esau wound up with a partial blessing from his father Yitzhak that gave him the blessing of the sword. So he shared a part of the blessing that was offered to Jacob or Jacob. And with that portion, his blessing being of the sword, he determined to dominate the entire birthright blessing and capture the whole earth to deliver it unto Satan. It's the lesson I learned. I trust that when you go and review Bereshith chapter 36, that shows you the genealogy of Esau, wherein we have the outline of the story to show the connection of Amalek with the demons. And wherein we also find where Amalek or today's Jewish get their theology from concerning the feminine or the female or the woman being the root of their genealogy. I'm sure you've heard it spoken by them. They say their genealogy comes from the woman. And so when the Ruach sent me to review Bereshith chapter 36 to find the genealogy, the complete genealogy of Esau, there's where I found a statement where Amalek, being the bastard, took the title of his birthright from being the daughter. I mean, from his mother being the daughter of the Horite, the demons, and therefore he did not state himself to be, or say of himself, present himself as being the son of Esau. He rather took his genealogy from the Horite, the demons. And this is how he became, well, he became a bastard because his father Eliphaz did not marry his mother Timnah. And so he was like the concubine, the concubine, we call it in the common language here in the West, the sweetheart. So the father of Amalek, Eliphaz, gave birth to Amalek through the demon daughter of the Horite. And thus Amalek rather takes his genealogy from the demon connection and not from his human father. And that is the secret behind the Jewish always claiming themselves to be from the genealogy of the woman. All right, but we're considering the fact that as Amalek and his brethren in Ukraine are conducting a war in that region, we find that because of the relationship that they had with us, Esau with Jacob, their spirit is reaching out to us for support because of the fact that they had gotten so much spiritual and emotional strength from the slavery or the enslavement situation, the power they had over us in the enslavement exercise, because of the demonic connection that was utilized to give them the power of the Zohar. Remember the Zohar connection. You know, those teachings of the Zohar that was at the bottom of their inspiration because of the connection with the Horites. The Zohar, that is a document of the satanic connection of Mizraim to Gadriel, Satan and the fallen ones. So the teaching of the Zohar, coupled with the fact that Amalek committed himself to naming his birthright on the behalf of his mother, who was the half Horite, the demon people. So with the connection of Amalek to Mizraim, who already were satanic worshippers, it's like Amalek had a double boost of satanic connection that was giving him energy and strength in his wars, in the Roman wars, in the wars of the Caesar, that they were conquering nation after nation. It was this double connection of Mizraim, Egypt, and the Horite. So they had connection on both sides. You understand? From the Egyptian connection, the Egyptians, Mizraim, that had the 12 tribes enslaved and taught their enslavement protocol unto Mizraim. I mean, toward their enslavement protocol unto Esau and Amalek, we could say, that is encoded in the Zohar. That is the method for containing the slaves and putting them through the process of the subjugation that the enslavement process required and engineered. Of course, this process was done to the children of Yasha'Allah way before having been brought under by the 400 years enslavement unto Esau, or then Amalek. it was from the time that Mitzrayim itself put the 12 tribes in slavery, that the demon connection through the Mizraite slavery methodology that was passed on when the generals of Alexander coming out of Greece to go into Mitzrayim, to Egypt, to learn the knowledge of the Egyptian, the Mizraite. There, the knowledge of the satanic connection with the Egyptians, or with the Mizraite, was connected with that of what Esau's children already being the seed of the Horites. These were the demon people. And also now having locked in to relationship with Mitzrayim, the Egyptians, they had a double force of power that was not readily accounted for. And so you see, when they conducted the 400 years enslavement of the 12 tribes, they were utilizing the force of their power from the Horites through Amalek directly, and Amalek was leading the rest of the dukes. Amalek became the leader, and then, of course, the relationship through gaining the knowledge of the Zohar of Egypt from Mitzrayim. So they had all that knowledge, all that double force of satanic power that was theirs to wield in the 400 years enslavement of the 12 tribes overall, from the South American tribes unto the house of Judah or Yahweh in this part, from the South America to this part in the north. You see. And so based upon that, in the historical process that finds us where we are now, even as we are seeking to fulfill the process of the sealing in our lives, Amalek has been reaching deep, as it were, to block the sealing process in our lives that would separate us and him and the whole of Esau. There in where's the in Ukraine, fighting a war there, but their attention is focused on us because they want to draw on that spiritual power from us to assist them in fighting their war in Ukraine. And so, brethren, put on the whole armor and safeguard your ruach to make yourself unavailable for them to access your strength is what we're sharing with you tonight. They're trying to get strength from you to help them fight their fight over in Ukraine, and we have to safeguard what we are told in the protocol of spiritual warfare, to put on the whole armor of Alahayim, that we may be able to stand in the evil day. These are an example of the evil days, when you have a faction, a split off in Esau, actually Amalek, leading the charge, who was solidly connected to us. But as the time has come for us to be torn away from each other, and for us to move towards securing our relationship with our Mashiach as he comes back, as he's on the way back to receive us of himself, and Amalek, or Esau in total, wishes to block that relationship so that he could have us to access power, emotional strength, and spiritual power from us to help him in his war in Ukraine. And so we have to be in prayer and put up our guards to block him. And since he regards himself as so mighty and powerful, as he has shown himself through the years, destroying many nations, that's what he has done. Because of that double force of power from the Horites and from the connection of his generals with Mizraim. So with power from Mizraim, power from the Horites, and strength from us, Esau, thought himself invincible. So this is why he was has been seeking to bind himself to us, to increase his force and his power. But in the Mashiach, we have the whole armor, Ayamalaka, of Alahayim, to shield us and safeguard our Ruach, our spirit, and to disallow Amalek from doing the vampire shuffle in our midst, as he intends to do from his grounds in Ukraine. Let's give him chance, give him time to see himself falling, being destroyed by his arrogance and his hatred against the Most High and against us, Yasha Allah. To the praise of our High Priest and King, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, Yahushua, Yeshua, Shabbat Yalaka, our Most High, our King, our High Priest and King, unto Abba Yahweh and the Blessed Ruach. And Most High keep you, Ashala, and cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious unto you, and give you peace in the midst of the storm and the wars that's seeking to draw you, to draw strength, spirit power from you to a system. Shut the gates. Shut the gates to the city of our dwelling place in the Mashiach and in the Most High, in the Ruach, for our safety. In Mashiach we pray and commit ourselves to Him. So let it be.